Druski clowned Erica Kirk. I reviewed Jimmy John's and Steak and Shake. And should fat people have to pay more to ride on commercial airlines? All that and more on today's episode of the American Power Hour. I'm your host, Nick Metcalf, and I'm joined here today by the beautiful, the gorgeous Mackenzie. There she is, folks. The greatest co-host in streaming history. How's everyone doing today? What's up, Christy? How you doing today? Happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 27th. Christy said, hey, I was just watching the upload I missed from Monday. Did you ever figure anything out about Crispy? No, I have no idea about Crispy. I do have to hit up Luke Foods. I'll hit up Luke and maybe Wayne Dang to see if they know anything about that Crispy situation that we talked about on Monday. If you ever miss any parts of the American Power Hour, you can always go to the APH, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. I have Rumble as well. All the lives are uploaded there. And if you ever want to catch the live, I'm here live on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1:30. Running a little bit late today. I had to do some reviews, and I had to stop and get some groceries. I went to Walmart for a couple groceries because I had to get some ant killer as well. Got a little ant problem out in the yard, but it is what it is. Let's move into our first story here. We have the Druski skit making fun of Erica Kirk. So let's go ahead and pull this up real quick.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic puck cup.
organic.
Yes, everything organic.
Four, 3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you good? 4, 3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Oh, man. Oh, man. What are our thoughts on that, folks? So some people are saying that it's making fun of Erica Kirk. Christy said, why is his makeup better than mine? They made his lips smaller, LOL. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people who are really upset about this because they think that the joke is about a grieving widow. But in reality, I don't think that that's what the joke is. I think the joke is more playing off of her actions. You know, her actions after becoming a grieving widow. I think that's more what he was going for. Dude, this part right here, where the girl behind, if you watch the girl behind Druski, she's just like trying her hardest not to laugh. It's hilarious when when he's trying to do the stretching thing. Right here.
3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you good?
If you look at this girl in the back,
3.
she's just trying her hardest not to laugh.
Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all
And
men,
this is great. The zoom in on the black guy.
especially all white men in America. Those
The way he looks is just perfect, dude. Absolutely hilarious, in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, the majority of people who are getting upset about this are like Republican GOP influencers who are trying to like convince people that they should be angry about this. But I mean, Druski makes fun of like all different races. He makes fun of all different types of people. This wasn't just like a one-off targeted thing. This is just like a comedian who makes skits. And he's making fun of something that is, everybody agrees. Like, if you're a grieving widow and then you take actions such as going on every single platform, every single interview you possibly can do, putting yourself out there to the point to where people are like, what are you doing? You know, like, what is going on here exactly? Todd O said sometimes people just need to laugh and not take it so seriously. Exactly. It's just jokes at the end of the day, folks. It's just jokes. You come out to the funeral of your husband with fireworks and like exploding things. Like it's a crazy thing to do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to do that. So to make fun of that is totally okay. It's not like he recreated the assassination and like recreated step by step. None of that. No, too many snowflakes today, said Marbles. Yeah. Christy said, if I lost my husband, I wouldn't even be able to go to the grocery store, much less a tour. Exactly. Yeah. So he's making a joke about the absurdity of her actions after being the grieving widow thing. Because you can only hide under the grieving widow thing for so long, especially when you're taking the actions that she took. You know, it's like if she robbed a bank, would we be, well, she's just a grieving widow. We can't judge her for, it's like, no, we can undoubtedly judge her for those wild actions that she took. Let's move on to the next topic here. Like I said, there's a couple other things with this Druski. Let me see. There's a original video that came. This was the original one. I thought I had it here. Maybe it's, yeah, here's the original one. This came out like right after all of the absurdity that took place. And this was making fun of that as well. This was a little bit more on the nose, but
I cut a bag with your suicide doors, life on the ropes. Tootsie part of their own coat. Tootsie slide when I stroke. Tell her get it out the flow. I told her get it out the dope.
dude, that's basically what she did. That's why it's funny. It's why it's a joke. It looks like clavicular here is trending. I think he shot an alligator or something. He's been arrested for battery in Florida. Here is the... Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I think that gator's... Just had to make sure.
Okay, all right. They're shooting at a dead alligator here. If anybody shouldn't be recklessly firing a gun, it's clavicular. We've talked about this kid before. This is the Looksmaxer. The Looksmaxer clavicular. I guess he didn't Looksmax those nostrils. I don't know. I don't know what exactly he's Looksmaxing. He does the bone smash. He's the guy who like punches himself in the face. Listen, if you punch yourself in the face in order to Looksmax, you should never be allowed to own a firearm. You should be put into a category of people who are probably have a few connections in their brain that have been fried completely. So I don't mind him getting arrested for this. I don't know. I believe the alligator was already dead. So, that just popped up there randomly. Christy said Cornhole Man has better trigger control. Exactly. I would trust Cornhole Man, the quadruple amputee with a gun over clavicular. Clavicular. That's crazy. All right. So yeah, the Druski thing. We got this new post from the New York Post here. It's about obese people. Southwest customers slam airlines fat tax policy after embarrassed traveler slapped with $1,000 second seat. $1,000 second seat? Was it really $1,000? Listen, I mean, if you're going to charge me by weight for my bag because it supposedly burns more gas or something on the plane, I'm totally cool. I'm totally okay with doing plane tickets by weight. Plane tickets by weight would be very interesting. I don't know exactly what they did here. Do I click this link? See what this link leads to? Okay, it's actually New York Post. That's good. Let's see here. A fat tax allegedly forced to cough up nearly $1,000 for a second seat. It shouldn't be like a surprise thing. If it was a surprise thing, that would really suck. Earlier this year, Southwest Airlines enacted its eyebrow-raising policy change requiring passengers who can't fit between armrests to purchase an additional seat in advance or risk being hit with the charge at the airport. Okay, I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that, dude, because one of the worst things about airplanes, it's why I don't like flying, is if you get stuck next to one of these large folks, and then you end up touching this person, and you didn't want to touch this person. They're just so large that they take up the space. So either you're sitting there like this the entire plane ride, or God forbid you want to use your armrests, and then you're getting whatever skin condition they have on their elbows or so. You don't know what's going on. For all you know, they could have just rolled around in shit. And this is anybody. This is not just fat people. This is any random person could have just rolled around in shit. I don't want to be touching random people. So I'm totally cool with do it by weight. You know, like why should like a small 7-8-year-old kid have to pay the same amount as a 350-pound behemoth that takes up both armrests? I'm a big armrest guy. I need my room, dude. I can't be like this the whole time for like a 5-hour flight from LA to New York or whatever. Like that's kind of insane. So I'm totally cool with them charging people by weight. Christy said, I've heard that if there ends up being a free seat after the plane ends, they'll refund you. Hey, that's a great policy. That's a good policy. Michael Hartson said Spirit has big front seat, and those are cool. Only thing is you got to fly Spirit. But last time I did it, it was nice. I've actually heard that before about Spirit. They do like you said, the big front seats. So that might be a better option. If you're one of the larger folks, you might want to fly Spirit with the extra room on the seats. That doesn't sound like a bad deal. It is Spirit, but I don't think I've ever had any poor experiences with Spirit myself. Oh, okay. This one. So I just bought meat myself. So this popped up in my feed. I thought it was interesting. So we'll check this out real quick. Apparently, this woman bought 5 pounds of beef from Sam's Club. She put it on the scale, and it turns out they were counting the pad, the wet, bloody pad underneath the meat. I have not watched this video yet, so we'll watch it together.
Does this Sam's meat really weigh 5 pounds? Let's find out. Okay, that's a lot of meat. I don't know if my scale will go to 5 pounds. We're gonna see. Let's break this up. Okay, why am I looking at the phone? Because it makes it way harder to do stuff. Okay. Alright, see, 5 pounds. That 0.01 will be like 0.16 ounces. Okay. There was I always want to say it's a fat pack. I don't know why. Alright. We're at 1 pound, 2 ounces so far.
Let's speed this up a little bit here.
What the hell? Okay.
See you, Mom?
Oh, thank you. All right, I guess it's 5 pounds. That's crazy.
With the meat pack?
So sweet.
Okay, this didn't need to be 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but they're including the meat diaper, they say. This post is a scam, somebody says. So the weight is actually 4 pounds and nearly 15 ounces. Doesn't it seem reasonable that at least an ounce of fluid from the burger's original would be absorbed in the packaging? What do you guys think? I just bought ground beef at Walmart, and I always get the 3-pack. They have a nice little 3-pack at Walmart, and it's the vacuum sealed, the vacuum sealed packs, 1 pound per. So you don't deal with that little meat. What'd the guy call it? That was pretty funny. The meat diaper. Iran-linked hackers breach FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email. Oh, some spicy photos of Kash Patel. Kash in Cuba. He loves his cigars, apparently. Kash Patel, director of the FBI, on the job. Kash loves doing crazy faces. These aren't really scandalous. These aren't really, like, if you hacked somebody's emails and this was all you found. Confirmed by Reuters. Yeah, this is legit, apparently. Iran-linked hackers have broken into FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email inbox. So, I guess this is how the war in Iran is going. They just broke into the FBI Director's personal email. The FBI confirms that Patel's emails have been targeted. In a statement, Bureau spokesman Ben Williamson said, "We have taken all necessary steps to mitigate potential risks associated with this activity, and that the data involved was historical in nature and involves no government information." Historical. Kash Patel smoking a stogie. Historical, they say. Pro-Palestinian vigilante hackers. Iran-linked hackers who initially kept a low profile after the United States and Israel launched coordinated strikes against the Islamic Republic last month have increasingly boasted of their cyber operations as the conflict drags on. In addition to the hack against Stryker, Handela on Thursday claimed to have published the personal data of dozens of defense company Lockheed Martin employees stationed in the Middle East. Wow. So it sounds like our government is under cyber attack from Iranians. I guess this is technically a war in Iran update. Speaking of war in Iran updates, we've been just touching on it briefly each live here this week. My prediction was that some shit will go down this weekend. We have boots in the air and boots in the water in Iran, in the surrounding area. And basically Donald Trump over the weekend said that we were going to bomb their energy sources, their energy facilities within 48 hours, unless they open up the Strait of Hormuz. They didn't. And then Monday, Trump extended that deadline 5 days to today. I think Friday. Today was the day he was like, we're going to bomb their energy sources if they don't open up the Strait of Hormuz. And then yesterday, Trump extended it like another 8 days or something. He's like, we're going to give him till April 6th, actually. And meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz is still completely closed to America and Israel. A couple days ago, a couple tankers went through, and Donald Trump positioned that as the greatest gift in American history or something. He was like, they gave us the biggest gift ever. Somebody asked like what it was, and he was like, well, I can't get into it, but we're talking to them. And somebody's like, who are you talking to? And he's like, well, we don't really know. We don't really know who we're talking to, but we think that he's somebody that we're having great negotiations with. And they gave us the greatest gift. Turns out the greatest gift, quote unquote, was ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. Not American ships, not Israeli ships, but the ships that were already going through the Strait of Hormuz. It was already happening. Like, Iran has been letting ships go through the Strait of Hormuz, just not American or Israeli. So Trump's like, they gave us the greatest gift. It turns out it wasn't the greatest gift. It was something that was actually already happening. And then today he says, or yesterday he says, we're going to extend the, what did he call it? The grand ultimatum. They better open up the Strait of Hormuz, or else we're gonna bomb them. We're gonna take them out. It's all, in my opinion, it's just buying time until we can get our troops there, so we can go in a full-fledged, all-out attack. That's just my opinion. But as far as like information goes, I mean, we just covered this story with Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. His Gmail account was hacked by Iran. So we don't really know exactly what's going on, but as far as we're concerned, there's just two different propaganda outlets. You know, there's our side and then there's Iran's side, and you know, with AI now, who knows what's actually going on? Fox News was like, "Oh, there's a big update." You know, like we've just received video footage of the latest strikes, latest U.S. strikes. Here's a good one. 41 minutes ago, Trump says Iran talks hang by a thread after Trump's direct message. He probably posted something on Truth Social, if I had to guess. Once again, Trump delays Iranian attack as markets crumble. It's really not looking too good, not looking too great. So on Monday we talked about the Jack Reacher crash out. He was found innocent, apparently. I didn't know this. They found, so there was this video of Jack Reacher, the actor, in the middle of the road with like on his motorcycle with like two of his kids or something, and some like neighbor walked out into the street and told him to like slow down or something, and I think he might have pushed Jack Reacher, and then another neighbor was recording from their window, and it was a whole video of Jack Reacher just like boom, 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 like beating the shit out of this neighbor. Apparently, it was self-defense. They called it self-defense. I don't know if there's any footage that has come out about that being like clear cut, but that's just what they're telling us. So I guess we'll roll with that. The latest wave of U.S. strikes deals dramatic blow to Iran, says Fox News. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Fox News alert. Should we see what this is? We'll see what this is.
There are fast-moving developments in the Middle East. CENTCOM releasing dramatic new footage as U.S. forces continue to carry out these precision strikes all across Iran. It comes as President Trump extends a pause on striking Iranian power plants as he pushes to wind down the war. Let's get to Mike Tobin.
As he winds down the war. How do you say that, dude? This is a story about the latest wave of U.S. strikes deals dramatic blow to Iran. And this is to wind down the war, says Fox News. I need to hear that again because I can't believe that's it's like little subtle words and little subtle phrases like this that ends up brainwashing people.
These precision strikes all across Iran. It comes as President Trump
Precision strikes all across Iran. It comes as President Trump winds down the war. We're striking them with bombs to wind down the war. If that's not war, what is war, dude? War is when you're dropping bombs on countries. That's the opposite of winding down a war.
extends a pause on striking Iranian power plants as he pushes to wind down the war. Let's get to Mike Tobin. He's in Tel Aviv. Good morning.
And as you mentioned there, Dana, the president has extended that deadline for Iran to allow ships.
He's extended the deadline. How grateful of him.
To move freely through the Strait of Hormuz. The president says he's going to allow another 10 days for Iran to let those ships move. After that, he could begin striking power plants. The president wrote on Truth Social, I'm pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6, 2026, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Talks are ongoing. Now,
Talks are ongoing, he says. Dude, they don't even know who they're talking to. They can't confirm if the people that they're talking to are actually in control and in charge.
Trump has extended the deadline, saying Iran reached out in good faith and gave a gift of 10 ships through the strait.
There it is. There it is. They gave us a gift of 10 ships through the strait. Let's see if he mentions what those ships were and who they were.
Not me.
He didn't. Of course they didn't mention what ships were sent through the strait. Because they were already ships that were already going through the strait. Iran has already made it clear that ships can go through the Strait of Hormuz, just not American or Israeli.
8 p.m. Eastern time. Talks are ongoing. Now, twice, Trump has extended the deadline, saying Iran reached out in good faith and gave a gift of 10 ships through the strait.
They reached out in good faith, and they gave us a gift. It sounds like we're winning. It sounds like we're crushing them.
Not me. They're begging to make a deal. And anybody that saw what was happening over there would understand why they want to make a deal.
And Iran's surviving leaders have posted that they have never reached out for talks. The foreign minister says the U.S. acted in bad faith.
This war of aggression is blatantly unjustified and brutal. They initiated this aggression on 28 February, while Iran and the United States were engaged in a diplomatic process to resolve Americans' alleged concerns over Iran's nuclear program.
Meantime, the Israeli Defense Force is working just across the border in southern Lebanon. IDF soldiers located a tunnel network built under a Christian church. Israel says the use of civilian Christian churches for military purposes violates international law, and they say Hezbollah repeatedly exploits the Christian population in southern Lebanon, turning their places of worship into war zones. Dana?
Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. Thank you.
Let's get some analysis right now from our man Dan Hoffman, CIA Chief of Station formerly. And Dan, good morning to you. Senator John Kennedy, Republican from Louisiana, kind of a rare voice in the Republican Party, said the following this week about getting out, like now. Watch.
As far as I'm concerned, it's time to get out. There will be those who say, well, the Iranian leadership is still a scam, and they could rebuild. But I will tell you this, we have inflicted massive damage on the Iranian government.
He is exactly right about that last part there, about massive damage on Iran. What is your analysis if the president were to say we're done at this point, Dan?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that we began military action against Iran because we didn't have a deal on Iran's ballistic missiles, their nuclear program, and we were...
We did, though. We did have a deal on their nuclear program. And then Donald Trump ripped it up. Donald Trump had to rip it up in 2019. Because if Trump never ripped it up, then we would have never had the scapegoat excuse to go in and take out their regime.
We wanted also to deal with their support to proxy terrorists in the region. Added to those three challenges that we continue to face is Iran's closing of the Strait of Hormuz. So we've got to get to those objectives. How we get there, whether it's through negotiation or continued airstrikes, potentially boots on the ground in some fashion, or...
Boots on the ground. It's coming this weekend. You can bet on it. That's not financial advice.
Some combination of all of those things, that's yet to be determined. But we need to get to the conclusion of this campaign and ensure that our strategic objectives are met.
The strategic objectives, do we know what they are? What are our objectives?
Here's General Keane from Fox and Friends earlier about those military objectives.
Here we go.
They're trying to personally survive and keep the regime somewhat intact. And believe.
Maybe I missed where the objectives were.
Keane from Fox and Friends earlier about those military objectives.
They're trying to personally survive and keep the regime somewhat intact. And believe me, that is an enormous problem that they have. And on the 20-yard line, we're trying to get to the goal line, and the opposition is putting as much impediments in because they can see how close we are.
What? I love how he puts it in layman terms. We're on the 20-yard line. We're about to score a touchdown. We only have 20 yards to go.
To attaining our objectives.
And yet, of
what the hell were the objectives? Did I miss it again?
They're trying to personally survive and keep the regime somewhat intact. And believe me, that is an enormous problem that they have. And on the 20-yard line, we're trying to get to the goal line, and the opposition is putting as much impediments in because they can see how close we are to attaining our objectives.
And yet, of course, Iran is trying to drive turmoil in the oil and gas markets. And at the same time, I thought this was very interesting when you pointed out that Russia is providing Iran with drones. And so there are many different players here. It maybe isn't so easy as just us.
Russia? Now Russia is powering Iran? Russia is giving drones to Iran. When does it become a world war?
Just saying, okay, we're done.
Exactly. Look, Russia wants this war to go on, I think, as long as possible, and they want to inflict as much pain on the United States and our allies as possible. Russia considers their war on Ukraine to be a proxy war against Europe and NATO and the United States by extension. And Russia's ally is Iran. Russia's been giving Iran drones and tactical intelligence, strategic intelligence, just as they gave the same sort of assistance to the Taliban so they could kill U.S. soldiers there. Iran has dispersed their ballistic missiles and their drones, what's left of them. And I agree with General Keane. We've got to finish the job. Iran wants to inflict as much pain.
Finish the job. To complete our operations and our objectives. The objectives, you know, what did we say earlier? Nuclear. Yeah, give them that story. That's our story. Is it regime change now, or are we going with regime change?
On the oil and gas markets and causes...
No, it's not regime change. We're liberating the country. We're going to liberate the country because we're such nice people. That's why we had to kill all those little girls in that school, is because we're liberating them.
Much turmoil as they can. If the regime survives, that's a victory for Iran, particularly if they don't have to meet our objectives regarding their future ballistic missile program, the nuclear program.
He said if the regime survives. We already took out, like, what, 1 or 2 guys that were, like, the top of the regime, and we're, like, killing innocent people. What is the regime going to change into? Because as far as I'm concerned, when you take out the top guy and then you take out the next guy and then you bomb, like, innocent little girls in a school, who's going to get in there and be like, yeah, you know what, USA, they did a great job. They did a knock-up job, bang-up job. What is the regime going to change into? What is the objective? I'm still looking for the objective here.
Remember, there's 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium we need to find.
Sure is.
1,000 pounds? That's a lot of pounds. That's a lot of pounds. Holy buzzword.
As well as their support to proxy terrorists.
There's 1,000 pounds, guys. Hey, guys, there's 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium. That's why we have to kill all these innocent girls.
1,000 pounds of enriched uranium we need to find.
Sure is.
As well as their support to proxy terrorists.
Dan, it's hard to see behind the curtain of diplomacy at whatever degree it's happening right now. What do you think this delay that the president announced yesterday until the 6th of April at least?
Delay. So this is the second delay with people who we don't even know if they're in charge.
What do you think that does on the battlefield?
Well, I think, remember, it's a delay in striking Iran's energy infrastructure, not a delay in our ongoing assault on Iran's defense industrial base with the airspace that we now control. So I think the president is indicating that he's ready to talk. He's always been ready to talk. I'm quite sure that behind the scenes, the CIA is collecting intelligence on the regime.
Not only is the CIA collecting intelligence on the regime, but the regime also hacked the FBI. Are they going to mention?
To determine whether there may be officials in the regime who might be interested in striking a deal to save whatever is left of their country and potentially have for some sanctions relief and economic growth down the road. But if those things don't happen, then we're going to use this time period, these 10 days, to put in place a plan to potentially to put boots on the ground. There have been
and kill them all. That's what the plan is here. The plan is to kill them all and it's liberation. We're liberating them by killing all of them. That's the plan, it seems like.
In some unconfirmed reports that the United States is considering sending as many as 10,000 troops into the region, and so we'll have to track that.
It's already happened. It's already happening.
Closely.
Dan, thank you. The weekends have not been quiet times, so we appreciate.
There you go. The weekends have not been quiet times. I'm telling you guys, this weekend, boots on the ground.
You kicking us off as we go
Dan.
into Saturday. Thank you.
All right, so that was some grade A propaganda straight from the White House. Wow, what do you guys think about that? Let me check the chat real quick here. Michael Hartson said, I'm surprised he still had a Gmail account given his role. Yeah, exactly. Neil Baum said the meat, that meat was probably near 5 pounds when they package it. The juice seeped into the pad over time, so when they weighed it, it should be significantly less than 5 pounds. That's why I like the vacuum sealed packs. I was talking about, I went to Walmart and I got those vacuum sealed packs of meat. There's no pad in there. No pad in the vacuum sealed shit. Neil Baum said, Fox News is a cartoon. What a kind gift, said Christie. Neil Baum said, now won't strikes on Iran's grid harm the general population of Iran, who Donald Trump wants to save from Iran's regime. Yes, exactly. This is the whole quagmire of all of it. It's like, we're going to liberate them. And then they literally bomb and kill over 100 innocent little girls in a school. They were just there trying to learn some math or some shit, and they get bombed to death because we're trying to save them. To me, it just doesn't make sense. It seems kind of crazy to me, personally. Oh, man. I don't think that there's anything else as far as the war in Iran is concerned. Like I said, stay tuned for this weekend because some shit is most likely going to go down, and I'll probably be live on Monday. 99.9% sure I'll be live here on Monday. What is this? Bright fireballs light up the sky of West Austin. We talked about these fireballs, I think on Monday's show or maybe last Friday's show. People are saying that there's meteors. There was meteors in Ohio. There was meteors in Texas last week, and now here's another meteor in Texas. There was also an oil refinery, I believe, in Texas that exploded. Owen Schroyer. All right, so yeah, that's where we're at right now with the war in Iran. Let's see, Friday. Today I reviewed Jimmy John's new gyro. They got a new gyro at Jimmy John's. And a new cereal Rice Krispie treat bar. It was like gas station food. In the review, I think I said Arby's actually has a better gyro, which is really saying something. I also went to the Dying Steak and Shake. They have a new Bitcoin meal. There was nothing Bitcoin about it. It had a little B pressed on top of the bun. Other than that, it was... Hey, I'll tell you what, though. Steak and Shake, I'm assuming the fries are good, too. But I had their new tater tots that are fried in Wagyu beef tallow. I don't even know what that means. Wagyu beef tallow? I thought it was just beef tallow. Is it free range as well? Free range, high IQ, Wagyu beef tallow? I don't know, but they tasted great. So that was that. I had a whole thing about abolish ice. I want to abolish ice, dude, because it's really starting to piss me off. Every single time I get a drink from a fast food place and I say, hey, light ice, please, filled up to the top with ice. I didn't buy a large water. This is supposed to be Diet Coke, but now it's mainly water. Oh, the other ice, I think, is in airports now, right? I don't think I have any videos on that, but some people were saying it was a good thing, some people saying it's a bad thing. They need to just fund the people who work at the airports. I think that's probably the best option with that. I don't think there's anything else going on here on this Friday. Oh, Secret Service agent apparently shoots leg at Philadelphia airport. Do we have a video? Escorting Jill Biden. Is this real? Jill Biden has Secret Service? Is that normal? Is this the video? Oh, we got video?
We're at PHL Airport this morning. You can see some police activity behind me. We were actually already on our way here to
This better be the actual video of the shooting. This better not be clickbait, lady.
talk about the latest with the TSA funding when we got word that a Secret Service agent who was assigned to Jill Biden's detail shot himself. This is Terminal C, right outside of the American Airlines departures drop-off area. This happened around 8:30, according to Philadelphia Police and the United States Secret Service. I'll flip the camera around to show you what's going on right now.
Okay, that slowed down. That was not actual footage. That was just some lady yammering. What is this, Hassan Piker? Those got to be fake glasses, dude. Got to be. Yeah. Why? Like I don't know if that's normal to have Secret Service. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like a for life type thing. They are definitely people of public interest. I don't think there's anything else going on here. I think we covered it all, dude. Laura Loomer accuses Candace Owens of hiding husband's DUI records. I think that was fake. Laura Loomer, that's one of these GOP Republican influencers that's telling people that they should be angry at Druski for the comedic video he made. Okay, I don't think there's anything else here, guys. Today is Friday, March 27th. If you ever miss any parts of the American Power Hour, you can always go to the APH YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble account. I have a TikTok too. TikTok and a Twitter as well. Hey, the Snapchat's doing great for the food review shit. Thousands of views, dude, after years and years of getting none. It's a beautiful thing. Hard work pays off. Thank y'all for being here on Friday. I will be live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. Have an amazing weekend. Stay tuned for the war in Iran. Stay tuned to the news, and we'll cover everything on Monday because I'm sure some shit will go down. Mackenzie, you want to say goodbye to the good folks on Twitch? She is KO'd, dude. She's ready to go outside. Yeah, she is. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Christy. Thank you to Michael Hartson. Thank you to Neil Baum 10. Shout out to Marbles 87. Shout out to Todd O. What's up, Ogeronix? Shout out to you. Shout out to Mac 4325. Thank you all for being here today on Friday. I will catch you on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Peace out.